One of the things that frustrates me when I'm talking with really anybody is somebody who thinks they already know the answers and they don't listen. And I know that at times in my life I've been that person, but when you're open and your mind's open, you learn a lot more.
Okay, so my pet peeves as an editor, I think folks forget sometimes that graciousness goes a long way, and you work with your editor for probably 2 or 3 years, sometimes longer, depending on what kind of book you're writing. So being really kind and patient with them, I think goes a long way and makes it so that they want to prioritize you and your book. You really want people to be coachable and to take advice and feedback. You know, I think authors need to have a vision for their work, but they also, if they want to publish traditionally, need to take advice and feedback and be willing to work with an author and a publisher to meet them halfway to produce the best product.
The biggest thing that you should keep in mind when pitching agents, in person or digitally, but largely in person, is that a lot of agents are very accessible. They are largely femme-presenting or in other ways marginalized, and it makes us very vulnerable. And so the thing that is most important to agents when they're meeting authors is personal safety, and it oughtn't to be, but just keep that in mind.
My pet peeve is getting letters that are addressed Dear Sir or Madam or Mr. Baldy. That just sends me over the edge. Also, what sends me over the edge is letters that come in by email that say they have written a fiction novel. That just doesn't happen. You write fiction or you write a novel. You don't write a fiction novel. So little grammar points. Sometimes if there's a typo or worse in the first sentence, I get really upset and I just delete it.
So pet peeves in terms of trying to promote an author, I would say one would be when an author just doesn't understand the value of earned media. And they need to realize that they have to start somewhere. They're not going to start on the Today Show. There are no small opportunities when it comes to publicity. And so a pet peeve would be if an author doesn't want to give their time for a certain interview, or is hard to get in touch with, or misses an interview and doesn't value the media's time also.
So you don't really have too many pet peeves, but what I always recommend authors do is make sure they know who they're pitching. So do your research when you before you pitch your agent, and make sure you are sending them the type of work that they're looking for. I also always recommend that authors get to know their market. So know your comps, know comparative titles, authors, their platforms, what they're doing, get a feel for what they're doing, and that'll definitely show an agent that you're really working to become the best fit for them.
So what makes a good pitch, other than you being an amazing writer and having an amazing idea, is having a very, very strong, clear vision, understanding the marketplace and how you will fit in with that marketplace. Like, what are the other books on the shelf that your book will sit with? A strong, elevator pitch statement, not a 2-paragraph statement. I need a 2-sentence statement to be able to turn around and then me pitch your book to the other people at my company.
When reading pitches, I think the first thing that grabs me is voice. It's difficult to have. It looks different for everyone, but it's something that really grabs you first off the page. Makes you really believe that this is a character, this is an author that knows how to really live in this character space, and makes you want to live in that character space, even if they are an unpleasant character. You need to find a way of being authentic from that character's perspective, and that, I think, does a lot of the convincing and a lot of the world building for you.
Things that I've never thought of before. Things that are just extraordinary that you don't really expect, but it's the way the composition, the way the writer puts thought to paper and writes these paragraphs about a subject that you really didn't care about or even thought about that makes you want to know more.
What really hits me is when an author comes to me and can show me instead of tell me. So in your pitch, if you have something that's like emotional, that can grab my attention right away, I love it. And one way to do that is just to be like really authentic with why you wrote the story, right? So why do I need to read it? Why does the world need to read it?